Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Kelly Sparks, aka Redbeard. So, today we're just going to discuss different methods of tasting. And I've done this video before, but sometimes it's good to re-review it. So here's a few of my opinions on how to taste whiskey properly. Now, the only wrong way to do this is to take it in a shot glass, especially if it's a nice one. I mean, if you're taking shots and you're drinking for effect, do as will. So, I mean, just whatever. But if you're trying to taste whiskey and you're trying to have an experience beyond getting drunk, don't take a shot of it. Don't just pass all the taste buds and straight to the gut. You're not going to get anything out of it, and then you're eventually just going to have a bad day. More than likely, a bad evening if you do too many of them, and then the next day, you're just going to feel like dog shit. So, in my opinion, these two glasses right here, this is a Glencairn, and this is a Copita style tulip style tasting glass, nosing glass. They're both designed for nosing, to channel all of the vapors inward. And actually, this is the same whiskey. So we're using Colonel E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. I believe this is the 2020 batch, or one of the 2020 batches. Bottled at 130.3. And already, just by having two, and I just poured these, two different glasses, I have very different, there's distinct characters coming out from each glass. Now, I am outside, it's roughly 50 degrees. That brings up another point. The temperature at which you taste your whiskey will greatly affect the flavors that are coming through. So, we're going to put the tulip glass down, and I'll expound more on it, but the Glencairn kind of got a lot of fame once the bourbon boom and the whiskey boom took off. The Glencairn came out, I don't know how many years ago, but got real popular, especially in the tasting circles. Which is a nice little glass. It's cute. You hold it by your fingers, whatever. It's so you don't cup it like this, but therein lies a problem. If it's cold out, or if your whiskey is cold, below room temperature, as we are today, it's going to inhibit some of the flavors. I've nosed it like 40 times now. So, what you couldn't see there, and what I did, it's a technique that I think I learned from Jim Murray of the Whiskey Bible. He recommends, actually no, I don't think I learned it from Jim. I think it was, who the fuck was that? Robert Patterson, is that right? Somebody came outside. Anyway, so basically you take the whiskey in your mouth and you coat the inside of your mouth thoroughly, moving it, swashing it, not really like a swish, not like mouthwash, but just moving it back and forth over the taste buds, coating the entire mouth. Also warming the whiskey up so more flavors come out, and your saliva starts to build up, so it'll eventually cut the whiskey down a little bit. So that's my preferred method of tasting. Usually it takes 15 to 30 seconds, depending on where I'm at, if it's the first time or not. What's up, Bonnie? And once you get through the first one, you can do it a little bit quicker. Try to find different notes. aerate the flavors that are still left behind. If it's a very viscous tasting whiskey or a viscous, what the fuck are you doing? If it's very viscous in nature and oily, you can kind of, that finish that's still lingering on your tongue, you kind of build your saliva up, get some air in there, aerate it, and you'll get different flavors. So that is the Glencairn. Now, the Copita, I think I'm saying that right, for Jim Murray's purpose, and he doesn't record, I've said this in the past, I feel like I have, he doesn't record his tastings. I guess he's trying to keep his method secret, whatever. I'm going to tell you my opinion of it. So, his reason he likes this glass over the Glencairn is he can cup it as such, especially if it's cold outside, and he will trap the vapors in the glass, cupping it and holding it close to you. In turn, warming up the whiskey and hopefully activating some of the molecules and get them moving, so you'll get different flavors, different aromas. It'll open up a little bit, and that's the basic gist of it. Now, in my opinion, because it's 50 degrees outside, it's going to take a long time to do this. If you have sample bottles, or if you have some way to keep your bottles a little warmer, I mean, not quite room temperature, but 75, 80 degrees, that might help in the tasting process, because during the event where he came and judged some Texas bourbons, it was probably should have been an hour-long event that turned into a 3-hour debacle, that because the whiskeys were so cold, the room was like 60, 65 degrees, and he's like, oh, these whiskeys are too cold, we got to warm them up. So we'd sit there for like this for at least 10 minutes per whiskey, and there was 11 whiskeys to taste. Now with his method, once you warm it up, you take it on the palate, you switch it around, aerate it, shut up, and then you spit it out. Now, if you're tasting 11 whiskeys, you might want to do that for the first few rounds if you're trying to decide a winner. If you're doing upwards of a dozen whiskeys, you might want to spit the first half out. Otherwise, you're going to get drunk, and then by the end, they're all going to taste great, and you're not really going to have a clear and concise winner. So, already, a little warmer, going in the mouth. I didn't have to leave it on the palate as long as the first glass, because some of those aromas and flavors were already opening up. So, do I think you should warm your whiskey up if you're tasting it for tasting purposes and it's cold? You should definitely warm it up a little bit. You don't have to get it to 100 degrees or whatever. You don't have to warm it up to like 75, 80 degrees. You definitely don't want it chilled for tasting purposes. Now, beyond that, I always recommend to everybody when they ask for a new suggestion, taste it neat, as is, straight out of the bottle. Do like a little sip, coffee style, hot coffee. Taste it like that, and then figure out, okay, it's a little hot. I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. Dilute it down a little bit until it's comfortable for your palate. Or you can take a piece of ice, 2 fingers over an old school ice cube, or if you're fancy, you got the ice spheres. Put it over that, let the ice dilute a little bit, and then try it there. All in all, the worst way to do it is just to kick it back to the head. Now, you're not going to have a good time. So, slow it down. Find a nice glass where you can get some aromas. If you don't have a Copita style glass where you can warm it up with your hands, I would suggest you get a sample bottle, pour a sample, throw it in your pocket for like an hour or 30 minutes or whatever, walk around, and then taste it after that. Even then, you could hold it in your hand, maybe 10 minutes. It'd be a lot quicker. But yeah, that's pretty much my opinion. So good. Ah, I wish I could find another one of these. This is pretty much all I got left. It's like maybe 2 or 3 ounces. But if anybody else has some suggestions on how to taste whiskey properly, comment below. Tell me your thoughts on it. Try my methods. I definitely like the. Hold on, I'm going to expound on another method. I forgot. I learned in Las Vegas at the Whiskey Attic. So you take a sip, pull it into the mouth. You let the saliva build up for like 15 seconds, swishing it, moving it around. You swallow a little bit, not all of it. You hold it another 15 seconds. More saliva is going to build up. Keep constantly moving it around the palate. Swallow a little bit more, and then you do it a third time. And that should kind of give you an idea, and way that he explained it to me, should give you a good idea on where you need to proof that specific whiskey. So as soon as it gets in your mouth, it's really hot, saliva builds up, swallow it, it's not so bad. Saliva builds up again, it's cut even more, swallow it, like, oh, that was pretty good. So maybe 1 to 3 parts dilution, but that's another good method. It's a little more intense because you're holding it on the palate for at least a good 30 to 45 seconds just to build up that saliva. But best piece of advice is take your time, warm it up a little bit, and enjoy the process. So with that said, like the video, subscribe, share with your friends. Thanks for watching. Check out the Bearded Idiots. Check the description below for all the ways to help out with the builds around the house. I think that's it. Christmas is coming up soon, so we'll try to get a couple more videos posted for Christmas or on Christmas. I think that's it. So, like always, drink some whiskey, share with your friends and family. Be safe, don't drink and drive, take care, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.